Lesko, Kyle Esperson, Carter Jones, Justin Kikinos. He finished 10th in Moto number 1, and there's a rider that's more than capable of taking a Moto win. Matthew Curler back there finishing in an 8th place position. We're going to pick things up here in lap number 1. This again is the second Moto of racing, and Luke Kalatzian grabbing that early lead there on board the number 36 Honda out of Sun Valley, California. He's on a smart top Bullfrog Spas Moto Concepts Racing Honda, and of course with a second place position finish in Moto number 1. The whole shot's good, but the big question is, will it translate into a lead here in lap number 1?
You got LeBlanc right there in second. He's ready to capitalize on any mistake by Kalatzian.
Kalatzian right now, I mean, you know, yesterday we were talking about a lot of these starts. Whenever they got the starts, they weren't able to maintain the lead. They get into situations like this early in lap number 1 with company right there next door to them. Wow.
LeBlanc railing.
Blanc coming around on that rear wheel, switching up lines, coming out of that Storyland section now, heading toward the big sweepers. They head over that new tunnel jump now, nearly side by side. LeBlanc on the outside now.
Kalatzian inside, LeBlanc outside. Kalatzian still able to maintain that lead. Got different lines going right here. LeBlanc looks back over the triple jump. He's able to take the lead. Kalatzian's coming back on the outside.
Wow, not backing down at all, Ryder, as these guys are going toe-to-toe here on lap number 1.
No, we're in for a good battle. Kalatzian make a little mistake there. LeBlanc right here, inside line. Not quite going to work, but I mean, LeBlanc is right there, and he's definitely all over him.
Over the tunnel up, now heading down the billboard section of this racetrack. This right here, you know as well as I do, one of the roughest sections of the racetrack, at least in years past. It may be one of the smoother sections of this racetrack, the way things are developing here in the 2020 season. Heading through the whole shot forest now, Ryder, as Kalatzian still holding on to this one as we drive into lap number 2.
Yeah, LeBlanc kind of backed off. You know, when you start taking different lines, you know, you might lose a little bit of time. You're trying to get out of the roost and whatnot. But I mean, LeBlanc is definitely on his tail, and he's ready to capitalize for sure.
Well, you know, LeBlanc took all of his jabs there on lap number 1, trying to first force him into that early mistake. Now he's got to study the situation and watch the lines and where he think Kalatzian might be heading after what he saw there on lap number 1 as we head back through Storyland now. It is still Matthew LeBlanc right on the rear fender of the number 36 of Kalatzian. Blake Hazen back in the number 3 spot. Oh, what we got going on here?
LeBlanc again trying this inside line. I'm on the Megawatt headset. LeBlanc again trying that inside line. And I don't know if it's going to work. Got to give credit to Kalatzian for just battling for all he's got. Even if he's on the outside, he just tries to pin it and keep it going. They'll be back in our sight in a second.
Wow, there's a big lead starting to develop out here, and we don't see, if there's...
No, Kalatzian still got it.
Kalatzian still got it. Is that still the number 1, though, back in the number 2 spot?
It is. Yeah, they're still wheel to wheel. They're coming over the table right in front of us.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong Honda.
Wrong pack. So a lap ago, LeBlanc tried this inside. It almost worked. He's actually not as close this time, so another lap in the books, and the Californian holds the lead.
LeBlanc right here, you know, this Bermuda Triangle, these guys, this last turn's not been nearly as deadly here on this second day of racing, but we haven't gotten into these intensive motos as what we see, I think, sometimes here in this 450B class. Back down in front of the billboards, we look a little further back. Blake Hazen still holding on to the number 3 spot. J. Ryder Fox is running 4th. Drake Bailey in 5th. Luca Marsalisi, your Moto 1 winner, in the number 6 position. He's starting on the outside of the top 10 there in in lap number 1, and through lap number 2, working into 6th place position.
LeBlanc, yeah, showing him a wheel again. Here we go.
Different lines through there. LeBlanc dropped inside, wasn't able to capitalize.
Now we're into the 10 Commandments. LeBlanc trying to make the move. Kalatzian's in a good position. He was second in Moto 1. First Moto winner, as Rodney mentioned, is all the way back in 6th. But he'd like to win this moto and maximize his point score. Not going to be easy. As for LeBlanc, he had the bad gate pick and the bad start in Moto 1. So he's got some ground to make up as well.
Well, you being from Las Vegas, what's your bet that this right here is a big setup that we see coming out of the 10 Commandments that Matt LeBlanc is trying to do, that honestly it takes this many turns to make this pass? I think he's in the setup. You willing to bet with me on this one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can kind of tell, like you had said, LeBlanc is giving chase and maybe studying some lines, but I mean, it looks like, he's going after him and he wants to pass him as soon as he can. And that's what I'm picking up off this race. What about you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that last time through that storyline, and every turn right now, he's feeling him out everywhere he's going, but there's something about coming out of that 10 Commandments section, heading into the storyline. If he doesn't get him over here by the billboard or right here in this sweeper turn, that he nearly leaps up side by side beside him now, and they are side by side heading into the final turn, but Calatsian
getting close.
Yeah, inside line advantage here as we drive toward the finish line for lap number 3 complete, and this one definitely a heart rate bumper, no doubt about that. So both of these riders riding pegged, I think, right now as far as heart rates are concerned, down in front of the billboard once again, and to the inside here comes LeBlanc, but nothing showing there, as still Calatsian able to maintain those lines, hitting every mark every time in every corner so far.
LeBlanc is all over the track trying different lines. He's doing everything he can to get around him as soon as possible. And I mean, sometimes it's not paying off, but I mean, I think LeBlanc is a fast rider. He's able to make a mistake and still close the gap right back up.
Down through the short chutes now as we head toward 10 Commandments through the Comedic Bowl turn now. The hard right-hand turn to the inside goes Calatsian as well, following through on the inside. The number 1 of Matthew LeBlanc as we rhythm through. It looks like a little bit of a different rhythm section for those riders.
Yeah. I think LeBlanc was able to go double, triple, triple, double. I think maybe Calatsian had to go double, double, triple, triple.
But what I thought, now I'll tell you, I would have probably lost this bet against Vegas odds, because I thought that's what we were seeing for setup for a lap later, was this setup for the pass for LeBlanc, but he wasn't able to make that happen. Either that or Calatsian really nailed that 10 Commandment section and put that distance that was needed. And we're starting to see a gap open up as we roll through this big sweeper turn over here past the Monster Energy viewing deck.
No, and it's a gamble for sure. What LeBlanc is doing, like I said, it looks like he's trying to attack him. And, sometimes that cannot work out for you. You take a slower line or whatever. He's definitely all over the track and he wants to get around him as soon as possible. But right now, he's kind of backed off a little bit. Maybe a little cushion for the Calatsian number 36.
Well, could be a little bit of a ploy there, if you will, as we roll through lap number 4 now. You don't know at that level if he's forcing Calatsian to use that energy up, and maybe if he does that, he might tire out a little bit toward the end of the moto. So maybe Matthews laying back just a little bit to try to strike here in another lap or so. 4 laps down on this one as we take another look at our top riders, and we'll take a look at the top 20 this time, being presented to you by your friends at Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, reminding you to get there faster and smarter. Luke Calatsian checking in on the number 1 spot after taking the whole shot. 4 laps down, Matthew LeBlanc back in the number 2 spot. Luca Marsalisi checking out, has moved up into the number 3 position. However, a 16.7 second deficit may be the only problem here as far as him taking another moto win. The important fact is that he is back in podium contention on the podium with a moto medal. That is certainly going to help his odds in winning the championship here after that Moto 1 win. Blake Hazen in 4th, Matthew Curler in the number 5 spot, Jay Ryder Fox in 6th and 7th, Wyatt Matson, Drake Bailey in 8th, Cole Bradford in 9th, Justin Kakino's now in 10th place position, Mitch Zaremba in the 11th spot, DJ Weber in 12th, Kyle Epperson in 13th, 14th, Lucas Lamborn, Eddie Nora Jr. in 15th, Sebastian Balbuena in the number 16 spot, Evan Hamowitz in 17th, Stephen Ward in 18th, 19th is Preston Yost, and the number 20 of Diesel Geertz rounds out your top 20.
And we'll present that top 20 update by our friends at Oakley. I love the way this battle is transformed. Now, my dad, who is probably the most pessimistic person on earth, anytime he watches these races, is always like, why is the guy bothering to hold the guy off? He's going to get past. Just give it up. It's not going to happen. And how many times do you see someone fight and fight and fight? And often the guy that's trying to pass him makes a mistake and goes down. And that's why you do the fight. In this case, Calatsian, who was almost passed, half a dozen times, kept fighting back. And now LeBlanc has had to take another swing at it. He's had to reset. Gap is 1.1 seconds. So all that fighting, what seemed like it was inevitable, it's not. Kaleitsin has a shot to still win this moto because he just wouldn't lift every time LeBlanc was next to him. It's not a guarantee. We're only halfway through, but that persistence is paying off.
Well, Matt LeBlanc posting up the fastest lap of the moto so far at a 151.951 here later in the day, I guess you could say, midway through the day. That was done on lap number 3. The last time around, he posted up a 153.367, so only about 1.4, so he's still within a second and a half of his fastest lap. And Kaleitsin, I think, also doing pretty much the same thing. His fastest a 152.044. Last time around, 154.293, and this might be the blood in the water that Matthew LeBlanc is looking for.
Yeah, he's definitely rolling back up. So what do you think? A little like take a breath, restart, try again for LeBlanc?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I mean, I know the different lines. Like I said, you know, LeBlanc was all over him, and you know, here you gotta take different lines sometimes to test the waters, especially if you know you might be a little quicker, which might would have been, you know, what's going through his head. But I mean, right now it seems like he's might be a little bit faster, but I mean, he's right there, and like I said, able to capitalize on these mistakes. These guys are so fast that any mistake is costly for sure.
Yeah, he's looking for a big one to make it easier to get around. So Kaleitsin still leading the way on that smart top. Moto Concepts Honda, been telling that story all week. Works with Kyle Lewis and now picked up on the team with Tony Alessi. So you take the starting prowess of Kyle Lewis and the starting prowess of the Alessi crew. No surprise he has 2 whole shots in 2 motos in this 450B division. He led a lot in Moto 1. Ended up second, leading a lot here in Moto 2. Doesn't want to have it happen again, but up against the Monster Energy Star Racing back LeBlanc, who won this title last year. It's not going to be easy, but he is holding up under fire. Only lost 0.2 of a second the last time around.
You know, this is a good point to prove whenever it comes to saying, you know, starts are critical, especially here at Loretta Lynn's. I think this is one of those scenarios where the point would probably be proved the most because, like you were pointing out there just a lap or so ago about holding the guy up and your dad saying, why not just let him go?
Just let him go.
Yeah.
You're never going to beat him.
Right. So this is the prime and perfect example of getting that start. You know, you know, at least it seems as though Matthew's a little bit faster than he is by looking at lap time. But at the same time, you know, Kaleitsin running in a defensive mode at this particular point. We don't know if he was in an attack mode. He might be able to run a little faster too.
There's attack mode from LeBlanc. He's hustling through this S-turn. The split. Oh, it's going to be wheel to wheel.
Kaleitsin would miss that triple out of the 10 Commandments there, and now they're side by side.
Yeah, LeBlanc even scrubbed it. He tried to get down to the ground as quickly as possible. This could be it. Another inside line for LeBlanc coming up here. Kaleitsin's going to have to grease his corner. They went for the same line.
He got aggressive on Kaleitsin.
Yeah, LeBlanc was tired of it. They went for the same rut. He was on the inside. It worked. Advantage to the Yamaha man. So finally, Matt LeBlanc has taken the lead.
Well, I saw a setup for a pass in that area several laps ago, but it took Matt LeBlanc a few laps to set it up and make it happen. But boy, when he pulled the trigger, that was perfect execution.
Yeah, it seemed like LeBlanc maybe was a little bit more consistent in those 10 Commandments and a little bit quicker coming out of them, and he went outside there and just side by side into the zone there and went inside with a little aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kaleitsin, you know, maybe got set a little fire under his heart and maybe got going because, you know, as a rider, you know, that's not something you want, you know, aggressive pass, and this is a big championship here on the line, and so, you know, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Kaleitsin, you know, gets going here.
Well, if things finish the way they are right now with LeBlanc a 3-1, Kaleitsin turning 2-2 in the moto, and Luca Marsalisi a 1-3. This is going to be a 3-way tie heading into the final moto. These are the kind of things that we like to see like this because it's a winner-take-all shootout between these guys.
Absolutely. It's best result wins a championship in that third moto if it stays the way it is.
LeBlanc, he had to come from way back in the first moto. We had him just inside the top 20. Had the bad gate pick because of the bad random gate draw and managed to come all the way back to third, and that was enough to keep him in it. And like you said, we'd be looking at a 3-way tie. I don't think Marsalisi, those two were pushing each other so hard out front, LeBlanc and Kaleitsin. I don't think Marsalisi has a shot at catching them. He's 20 seconds behind in third, and he got Matthew Curler and Cole Bradford in the top 5. Then this battle, Blake Hazen on the 45 and the 13 of Wyatt Matson. Good duel here. That is for 5th and 6th.
Kikino's up to 8th place now. It looks like J. Ryder Fox, who was running about 5th place position, dropping back to the number 9 spot now.
Into the inside. It goes Wyatt Madsen. Oh,
ooh, brake checked him.
Yeah, he stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a mistake or an on-purpose brake check, but it worked. Slowed up Hazen, and now look at the gap that Madsen built on him in one corner.
Yeah, a little brake check kind of got the worst of it, number 45.
Next up will be Coquinos, as Rodney mentioned, on the 39. He might bring it to Hazen in a battle for 6th. Looking at 450B, Monster Energy AMA Amateur National Championship here at Loretta Lynn Ranch. As they work their way out of Storyland is triple. Next on the list, Hazen would like to get Madsen back after that brake check. And then ahead of them would be Cole Bradford on the number 27. Matthew Curler all alone in 4th. 39 we're looking at here. That's Coquinos, and he's starting to close the gap.
Yeah.
On the 45 of Hazen.
There was almost 4 seconds that separated him and the riders ahead of their Wyatt Madsen there at the end of lap number 7. So, yeah, that gap has closed up quite a bit. Actually, I think we're going to say it's going to be maybe within a second whenever we hit this finish line.
Hitman was a second and a half quicker than second.
Yeah, and our man Matt Watson up at the tower, he's been saying that Luca Marzalese, your 3rd place rider, he does his best work in the final minutes of the event, and we're into the final 5 minutes of this 20-minute moto. Now, he has an 18-second gap to make up on Kaleitzian, but there's reason to try to go for it. Rodney, as you said, we're looking at a 3-way tie in points in this class right now. If Marzalese could get all the way to 2nd, it would change that math completely. So he's got every reason to go after it, but he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, and that's when it comes down to the start too. Like you had said earlier, you know, the starts are crucial. I mean, Marzalese, you know, he won the first moto and you know, obviously probably had a clear track and whatnot, but you know, he's in 3rd place right now,
Yep.
and that's mainly because of the start. I mean, LeBlanc and Kaleitzian had amazing starts, and you know, he was back in the pack, maybe had to come back, but you know, you get to 3rd, you get there, and then you're 18 seconds down, and there's not much they can do because they're on, you know, all similar paces, and you know, they're all really quick, and it's hard, like you said, to come back from 18 seconds down.
Lassian faded big time yesterday.
All right, watching on screen right now, that is the 39 of Coquinos. He's got J. Ryder Fox behind him. Coquinos 8th, Ryder Fox is 9th, Bailey is 10th, and he is trying to track down Hazen. Is that Hazen right there?
Yeah, went right around the outside. Was able to do that triple, went right around Blake Hazen on the 45.
Not sure what happened to Hazen here. Kind of lost the pace here last couple of laps. Did have that little incident running into the back wheel with the brake check with Madsen, but just kind of come undone. He was riding awesome early in this moto, but now losing a couple of spots. Coquinos just a grinder, man, coming out of New England. He'll run every class, every weekend. New England, I feel like, is the only place that still has that going. They do their work on weekends in the races. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, they have a short season maybe with the weather, but you go up to New England and they race. They still just race every weekend. They're not necessarily training facility Monday through Friday, kids. So Coquino's pretty popular up there. Here we go.
They make up classes to ride up there.
Maybe just find more classes. How can we slice the age range so I can get 2 more motos in today? So Coquino's, he's grinding late. Marzalese is closing in, but not a ton. Go ahead, Rodney.
We're 18 minutes into this. Somebody needs to go head down.
I got it. Yep. Yep. I don't think Marzalese is going to do it. He's making up a second a lap, but he's got 20 seconds to make up.
Well, he's chipped it down from just over 20 to 17 now, so he has done a little bit of moving ahead, but at the same time, I think this, late in this moto, these riders all settling in. And another point to point out here, when we go into this moto, these guys are going to have about a 4-point difference between themselves and the 4th place position, so they got a little room to play with. They aren't necessarily even going to have to finish on the podium,
right?
Or as long as they finish the top 4, top 3, that should secure them a win, and whichever one beats the other would be your champion as far as that goes, because you got Matthew Curler, he finished 4th in moto number 1. You got Cole Bradford, who finished 5th in moto number 1, and they're both running 4th and 5th this time around, so that's consistency. I mean, and that's another thing to point out about this class in this 450. Our top 5 riders are the same top 5 riders as they were in Moto 1. There's just a little bit of a flip-flop amongst the top 3, the upper echelon, if you will, of this class this year.
Hey, Rodney. the same 5 guys don't get lucky twice.
No, they don't.
Okay, this is the second moto. Guess what? 3 times we got to do this, homie.
Yeah.
And you know what? If those same 5 guys are up there on flip-flop, that really solidifies it.
And you know,
no matter what the order is, it tells you those 5 guys are the right 5 guys up front.
Now, here's the beauty of this 3-moto format now. We look at this result right here. If it would finish like this after 2 laps or 2 motos, LeBlanc would be your overall winner, Colazian would be second, and Marcellisi then would be overall third. But here, you know, with, you know, bad start for Matthew LeBlanc in moto number 1. Bad start for Luca Marcellisi in moto number 2. The law of average is the best out of 3.
That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're going to see those 5 guys, I do believe, in some order in moto number 3.
I absolutely.
And let the chips fall where they may.
6th place right now, Wyatt Matson, the number 13 machine. As we look at his scores, he finished 6th in moto number 1. The 39 of Justin Coquinos, he's currently running in the number 7 spot. He finished 10th in moto number 1, so he's bettering himself a little bit out there. 8th place position is the 45 of Blake Hazen as we check his position in moto number 1, an 8th place position. 9th place, the 48 of J. Ryder Fox. Now, he finished 17th in moto number 1, so this is looking better for him for an overall top 10 and having the opportunity to stand on the stage at awards ceremony and presentations on Saturday. And rounding out the top 10 here in this 10th lap of racing, the number 9 machine of Drake Bailey out of Shawneetown, Illinois, took 22nd in moto number 1. So looking pretty good, pretty exciting for that. Hey, Kevin Flores to the trackside office ASAP, please. Kevin Flores, please report to the trackside office ASAP, please, as the checkers fly on this one for Matt LeBlanc taking the win. Luke Colazian in the number 2 spot. Luca Marcellisi taking 3rd. Had bridged that gap up to 10 seconds, but LeBlanc slowed down to a 2-minute. Colazian down to a 2-minute. Marcellisi holding steady right down to the very end in that 156 range.
No, absolutely, and that's going to come into play in the 3rd moto for sure. And you know, Marcellisi, obviously your first moto winner. You know, just a bad start cost him in that moto, but I mean, we're going in the 3rd moto tied, and it's going to come down to the last moto.
Well, Ryder Colvin, your take on this one, pretty interesting, huh?
No, absolutely. I mean, those 3 guys up front, you know, obviously are really fast. And, you know, all these guys are fast. And you said the top 5, you know, same exact riders, just different order.
Well, even the top 6.
Yeah, even top 6.
The top 6, 4, 5, and 6 finished 4, 5, and 6 in moto number 1.
Well, yeah, which is, you know, crazy. And it goes to show you, you know, you don't get lucky twice, like he said. And you know, that's going to come into play for sure. You know, like, I mean, their skill for sure. Like, I mean, the top 6 guys are the best 6 guys, you know, that's what they showed us so far, and we're going to see that in Moto 3 though, and the top 3 riders, like I said, the best rider will win.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Wygant headed down to the podium, getting things sorted out down there, and looks like he's got Matt LeBlanc down there ready to talk about all the excitement of this second moto of racing and how the stage is setting and the drama is building toward moto number 3.
There we go. Had to do some microphone surgery there, but we are ready to go. And so is our moto winner, Matt LeBlanc, taking some photos there. Lots of media coverage, especially in this B class, where we know some future pro superstars are here, and this could be one of them. Big moto win. He's sitting on a 3-1 now. Let's hear it from Matt LeBlanc. Well, Luke made you work for it, man. That was tough.
Yeah, it's just started off behind him and then stayed real patient the whole moto. Waited for him to wear out a little bit. Knew I was in better shape than anyone else in the class, just knowing how hard I worked. So yeah, just waited for him to get wore out, and then finally made a move. And after that, just settled in and just focused on myself and tried to get through the lappers. Lappers were pretty crazy the last couple laps. and just right away with it.
All right, Matt. We'll let you thank your people that helped you out.
Lord Jesus Christ, keep me safe. My mom, my dad, the whole Star Racing Yamaha crew, Monster Energy, Thor, Alpine Stars, Bell, FMF, 100%, On Track School, my mental coach Sean Humphreys, and Garrett Swanepoel, my trainer, and just especially everyone at Star. They've helped me out so much past couple years, and ready to go forward with them.
All right, there it is. Monster Energy Star Yamaha, Matt LeBlanc with the Moto win. Second place, and we do believe there's a three-way tie in points going into the final Moto of this week in this class. Let's look for Luke. Let's bring you on up. And that's 2 whole shots for him in both motos of this class. You know, when you work with Kyle Lewis and you work with the Alessi crew, you're going to get some starts. That's exactly what has happened. 2 Stasic Stability Cycle whole shot awards for the number 36 on the Smart Top Moto Concepts Bullfrog Spas Honda. Let's hear it for Luke Kaleitz, second place. All right, you can head over to the microphone there, Luke. Hey, you had the whole shot. LeBlanc was all over you, but you were not giving it to him, man. You tried as hard as you could.
That might be the best I've ever ridden. That was the most fun I've ever had, and the most stressed out I've ever been.
Okay.
But that was so rad. I was hoping I could get a little bit of a break, and then I think I tried to go quad in the Commandments by accident, and he got close, and it was some close racing, but that was awesome out there.
All right, and look, you're all tied for the points going into the third moto. This could happen.
Gonna send it next moto.
Okay.
Between the Alessis and that Moto Concepts rocket ship, gonna get off to a great start, and I'm gonna put my head down and do everything I can to win.
That's what we want to hear. It's gonna be quite a showdown. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Moto Concepts, Smart Top, Bullfrog Spas, the Alessis, Kyle Lewis, my family, Liette, XPR Engines for building the rocket ship, Race Tech for getting me around the track, Dunlop for hooking me up, and everyone else. Thank you.
Let's hear it for him. Second place. Right in that hunt. 3-way tie going into the final moto, and that means we need to talk to our third place finisher in this one, who was the first moto winner. This has been the comeback guy in this class. Hasn't had the starts, but boy, does he have the endurance. And he's sitting on a 1-3. Bronze medal. Let's hear it for Luca Marcellisi. Come around to the front there, Luca. What happened? We didn't see too much of you early on in the race. What went on in the first couple laps?
I just got a horrible start. Bad on my part. I need to be better. Yeah, just not an ideal start for that moto.
All right, going into Moto 3, you're all tied. What do you think is going to happen? What are you going to try to do?
I'm just going to do the best I can, get off to a good start, and push to the very last lap.
What would it be like to get a big B title here at Loretta? It's got to be a big deal.
Nothing be better than that, but I'm trying just to focus on lap by lap and not worry about that right now. So
that's good. Yeah, don't want to get ahead of yourself, but who do you want to thank?
I'd like to give a huge shout out to 100%, Thor, EVS, my mom and dad, everyone at home watching, my brothers, my gym trainers, Pro Circuit for having the bike dialed, Deep South Kawasaki for getting me bikes, Pro Taper, Colleen and Brian just for everything they do for me, and Garnet, just anyone else I forgot.
All right. Third place, Luca Marcellisi. Go ahead.
Mechanic Wilkie.
Okay, yeah, he deserves it for sure. All right, that's